Yes, good afternoon, classmates. Good afternoon, Dr. Giovanni Cornelia. I'm Mr. Sylvester Cardenas from Maed1C. Okay, today I'm going to teach you the 10 qualities of a good research. After studying all about what is research, let us now move on to the qualities on how are we going to create or how are we going to identify if that research is good enough because of these 10 qualities. All right, let's move on. For the quality number one, a good research is anchored on a sound research question. A sound research question is one of the most important characteristics of good research. A good research question details exactly what a researcher wants to learn and defines a studying scope. By formulating a good research question, researchers can ensure that they can stay on track during the course of the study. Kasi di ba minsan, nawawala na tayo kung ano ba talaga yung i-research natin. That's why this research question should anchor everything. Kasi in most cases, the research question influences the rest of the steps a researcher takes during his or her study as well. However, the formulation of a research question is often easier said than done. Totoo naman yun, di ba? Uh, Madali lang minsan na gumawa ng question pero mahirap siyang tanungin or mahirap siyang mahanap. That's why, according to this set of criteria, a good research question is or should be finer. Okay, F for feasible, I for interesting, N for novel, E ethical, and R is relevant. Okay? To more to know more about the steps on how are we going to write a good research question, maybe I think that is another topic to be studied. Okay? For the number two. For the number two, a good research follows a systematic, appropriate research methodology. A while ago, we studied all about the different kinds of methodologies because the overall quality and success of a research study are largely determined by the research methodology it uses. Diba? Choosing an appropriate research methodology helps ensure that the researchers can collect relevant data and use the right data analysis method. The research methodology refers to the systematic procedure or techniques a researcher uses to ensure that his study achieves valid and reliable results. The example of research methodologies are qualitative research, quantitative research methodologies, and a mixed method research methodologies. A researcher must consider a variety of factors in choosing the best methodology for their study. In most cases kasi, the research questions and objectives play a significant role in defining the most appropriate research methodology to use. It depends on your questions. Siyempre, kung ang tanong mo ay may how, ganun. Siyempre, it's more, it is more about the quality. Next one is number three. For the number three, a good research acknowledges previous research on the topic. Di ba? While good research leads to the discovery of a new knowledge, it also means studying previous research on the topic. By studying scholarly articles and other works related to your subject of interest, you get an idea of what has already been studied and how your study fits into existing research. That's why it is very important for us to read more articles, to read more books, diba? More research, because exploring previous research can also ensure that you're not duplicating existing work. Related literature can also shed light on potential obstacles and issues researchers may encounter during their studies. That's why magbasa muna tayo ng magbasa kasi malay ba natin ay na-research na pala yan, di ba? That's why you need to read more articles. You need to browse more. Because giving the importance of studying research related to one's topic, most research projects feature a literature review. Diba? A literature review describes, evaluates scholarly articles, books, and other sources relevant to a particular field of study. That's why if we are going to study the table, we're going to study the table, ang may pinaka ang may pinakamataas na percent na palaging pinag-aaralan o palaging may research ay all about the health science, 'di ba? Kasi until now, marami pa tayong mga sakit na walang appropriate na gamot. That's why it is that's why ito ang may pinakamataas na percent na until now ay pinag-aaralan pa din. Na until now ay is, na until now ay topic pa rin ng kanilang mga research. Now, let's move on to number 4. For the number 4, a good research uses relevant empirical data and proper data analysis method. One of the most important qualities of a good research study is that it deals with empirical data. So what is empirical data? Empirical data is a data that has been collected by researchers themselves through observation, experience, or experimentation. This is crucial in doing a good research because empirical data is considered objective and unbiased evidence. Siyempre, ikaw lang naman ang naka-experience nun, di ba? Yung ibang tao, hindi na na-experience yun. Kaya, it is considered as objective and unbiased evidence. A good research doesn't stop with the collection of empirical data because the data collected must be analyzed properly as well. The type of data collected largely determine the right data analysis method to use. Yeah, because of your data, doon natin malalaman kung anong method ang kung anong method ang magandang gamitin natin. Qualitative data, for instance, is usually analyzed through descriptive statistic or inferential statistic. These statistics can help researchers find figures to summarize the variables, to find patterns, and make prediction. On the other hand, the analysis of qualitative data involves identifying and interpreting patterns and themes in textual data. Okay? Using these analysis methods, you can interpret qualitative or qualitative data to answer your research question. For the number 5, For the number 5, we have a good research is representative and generalizable. Criteria of a good research include being representative. In research, representativeness refers to sample's ability to represent a larger group. This means the characteristic of the subject being studied closely match those of the study's target population. Ibig sabihin, it should be measurable, attainable ba? Diba? Because in most cases, representativeness can be achieved through population sampling by using proper method to create representative sample. Researchers can ensure that their findings can be generalized to the larger population represented. Diba? Minsan kasi, hindi attainable ang research. Kumbaga, imposible. Kung hindi imposible, mahihirapan ka to get to get um to get idea or to get data, diba? For the number six, is why you should apply the number six. Ayan. For the number six, a good research is guided by logic. Diba? One of the distinguished characteristic of research is that the entire process is guided by logic. Using logic, for instance, can help researchers determine what kind of data they need to answering their research question. Being guided by the logic throughout the research process also helps researchers spot policies, policies or fallacies, and inconsistencies in their claims and findings. Diba? Because the logical processes of induction and deduction can also prove to be valuable in the research process. So what is this induction and deduction? According to the study, inductive reasoning can be used to discover patterns and construct generalization and theories. Meanwhile, the deductive reasoning can help researchers collect empirical data, confirm or refute theories or hypotheses. Uh, Aside from this application of logic, logical reasoning can also make more research more meaningful, especially if the research is to be used in the context of decision making. Diba? So, talagang mahirap talagang gumawa ng research. For the number seven. For the number seven, we have the good research has external validity. Okay? A good research has external validity if its results or findings can be applied to the real world. Kumbaga, makatotohanan, di ba? If your research findings can be generalized to other situations or applied to a broader context, your study has a high external validity. There are two types of external validity for researchers to consider: population validity and ecological validity. Research with findings that can be generalized from the sample to the larger population has a high population validity. Meanwhile, you can achieve ecological validity if you can apply your study's finding to real-world situation and setting. But since general since since generalizable knowledge is almost always the aim of scientific research, external validity is an important component of a good research as well. For the number eight, we have yeah, we have the a good research is replicable, reproducible, and transparent. Replicabi- uh, Replicability, reproducibility, and transparency are some of the most important characteristics of research. The replicability of a research study is important because this allows other researchers to test the study's findings. Replicability can also improve the trustworthiness of a research findings among readers. Because a good research is also a reproducible, though, though, though replicability and reproducibility are often used interchangeably. Research is reproducible if researchers achieve consistent research or consistent results using the same data and analysis method. The reproduce the repro the reproducibility and replicability of a research study and its finding can confirm the study overall validity and credibility. Because for research to be replicable because for the research to be replicable or reproducible For the research to be replicable or reproducible, it also be transparent or available to other researchers. The research must be written or presented in such a way that it provides comprehensive detail on how data was collected and analyzed and how conclusions were reached. This is why most scholarly articles provide clear description of their corresponding research process. Okay? So, huwag kang madamo. Ipakita mo sa iyong research kung paano mo siya nakuha. Diba? For the number 9, we have the a good research acknowledges its limitations and provides suggestions for the future research. In addition to information on data collection and analysis methods, a good research also opens doors for future research on the topic. For instance, researchers can provide details on unexpected study findings or suggest techniques for exploring and address aspects of your research problem or research question. In many cases, these suggestions for future research stem from the research limitation. Researchers must acknowledge the study limitation and potential flaws and present this along the study findings and conclusion. Further explain that a meaningful presentations of a research study's limitation includes implication of these limitations and potential alternative approaches. So dito na papasok yung blind spot. Parang may ganun siya. Correct me if I am wrong. And then for the last but not the least, qualities of a good research is, ayan, a good research is ethical. Understandably, a good research is carried out according to the research ethics. According to the World Health Organization's research ethics provide a standard of conduct for scientific researchers. These standards help protect the rights and dignity of research participants while ensuring that researchers practice values such as honesty, objectivity, integrity, and accountability in their work. So, bawal magsinungaling. Some of the most common violation of research ethics include falsification, wherein it involves the manipulation or omission of data or finding. Dapat kung ano ang sinabi, yun ang ilalagay mo. Next one, fabrication. This involves making up data or results and presenting this as accurate. Next, plagiarism. This refers to the use of another person's work without giving due credit. While self-citation and self-referencing are common practices among scientists or most of the researchers, the recent studies show the rising trends in excessive self-citation. So, palagi na siyang ginagamit. So, ang nangyayari, para na siyang nagiging plagiarism. Kaya, um, iniiwasan na mag iniiwasan na mag-apply ng self-citation. Okay? Now, hopefully, this guide on the qualities of a good research has helped us evaluate whether your study is on the right track. Because good research starts with a sound research question, while influences the research methodology, including data collection and analysis methods. The findings of a good research study are based on empirical data. Siyempre, kung ano yung na-experience mo. More importantly, a good research is ethical and transparent. Transparency is crucial in ensuring that a research study is replicable or reproducible. Okay? So if you're looking for more ways on how are we going to improve our research study, I'm going to put my references and please help yourself. Now, again, thank you very much.